recital looming in the near future. You may want to think about some ways of how you want to work as a soloist with your collaborative accompanist or with chamber musicians that are working with you. So I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Bixby, and she's going to lead it today.
Morning, everybody. Good to see y'all. I will also add to what Dr. Yates just said that a lot of these etiquette procedures and best practices apply on a micro level too. How do you enter the room when you're rehearsing something with an accompanist? How do you enter the room? How do you get into your seat in large ensemble rehearsals? All of these things are going to relate to even these slightly less official or less presentational things that you do day to day. I'm going to start with quotes because I'm a big quote fan. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. Abraham. Here's the next one. I'm not here to get it right. I'm here to make it right. Brene Brown. If you've heard of Brene Brown. Last one. This is an endless proving of myself that I really am a musician, that I have something to offer in the room. Lady Gaga. What we're talking about here is preparation. What we're talking about here is building a repertoire of skills, ideas, and poise that then you can then apply in professional situations. And the thing about being a musician is that in these moments of self-reflection, the building up of your emotional life, even skill building, all of these little things are likely forged when you're alone. When you're alone in the practice room, when you're on a walk, thinking about, well, what do I really want to do with this story? Where am I right now? Technique, building repertoire, working on text, working on long tones, positioning, posture, embouchure, all of this is housed within your physical body and within your individual mind. Nobody can do that for you. And yet, when we really go to work, when we're really pushing ourselves, when we're really making music, it's with other people. It's with other people. And, coincidentally, it's often, at some point, for other people. So how do we navigate this? Today we're going to walk you through how to get through these pre-professional and professional settings. How to be kind, how to be creative, how to be efficient, in rehearsals, in a performance, and as an audience member. There might be a slight assessment of your audience participation today by the end, so just be aware of that. Be on your best. So first off, in the following scene, Dr. Yates is going to have 8 really good ideas in the first couple minutes of a rehearsal with a new collaboration partner, Miss Catherine Chung. I want you to pay attention. He's going to have at least 8, maybe even more, really good ideas and make really good choices in the first couple minutes of this rehearsal that they will demonstrate for you. Will you, as a warm audience, welcome to the stage Dr. Yates and Miss Chung.
Now, you already got the music for this, right?
Yes, I did. I have my music ready and my pencil.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I have my music and my pencil, right? And I've got my instrument and all of its accoutrements, which is awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to take a couple minutes just to play a couple notes because it's been a few minutes since I've played.
Okay.
But then we can go ahead and tune and get ready to go. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Can we tune to a B flat? Okay, cool. That sounds good. Thanks. Okay, so I was looking at the score earlier, and I noticed that at the beginning of this, I play this thing before you come in. And I think it's going to be kind of interesting because I have to set the tempo, and I want to make sure that the tempo that I'm setting makes sense for you. So can we start there?
Okay.
And we'll try that, see how that goes.
Okay, sounds good.
well. Was the tempo comfortable?
I think you did quite a good job. Yeah, I think this tempo is tough.
Okay, well, I'll plan on trying to do that. When I do the ritardando at the end of that section, did it make sense what I was going to do there?
Do you want, would you like to give me a little bit more cue on that?
Oh, okay. So like if, when we get into that bar, da-da-dee-da, and then show beat 3, dee-da-da-da.
Okay, I will mark it down.
Okay. Can we just try that one so that I can try it to make sure it's good?
Okay. So where should we start?
If we start right at measure 18. Well, I missed a note, but was that clear?
I think it's very clear. I exactly know where you want to slow things
Okay, great.
I'm looking for 8 really good choices that Dr. Yates and Ms. Chung made in that little scene. Looking for 8. Hands. Oh, I wish you knew my hands. I'm so sorry. Black shirt. Yeah, nice and warm introduction. Did they make eye contact? Yeah, did they shake hands? Even maybe in COVID times, you want to do something more COVID-y, which is like not touching, or elbows or something like that. That's also fine too. What's that? They had pencils. Fantastic. Yeah, they were prepared. If you have a tablet, no big deal. You can also bring your, what are those called? Stilos? Stylus? I went to the French. Yeah.
You looked at the score beforehand and knew what you wanted to do.
You have a plan. That is so important. How many times, to be honest, have you walked into rehearsal and been like, okay, raise your hand. Oh, raise my hand. No big deal. What else? What else did you see that were good choices? Yes. They both knew the material. They knew the notes. They had practiced. Were they each totally perfect? Seamless? No. Did that matter as much for the efficiency or kindness or creativity in the session? Nah, didn't really matter. But they did know the material. Not only did they know the notes and rhythms, but they also knew the structure of the piece. Maybe one particular section that they should zero in on, which relates to the playing. Yeah. What else did you notice? Yeah. They communicated. Yeah, they both talked. I know that sounds weird, but you should talk. You should communicate with this person. How did that go? How did that feel? I think I could try that again. Would you like to try that again? There's something specific in how Dr. Yates especially opened up conversation after the rehearsal that I want to zero in on a little bit. He used I statements. Do you know what I mean by an I statement? I felt like that went pretty well. What do you think? What would be another version of that? Or do you want to go on? Yeah.
By saying
We, yeah, collectivizing the energy. We're here together. We rely on each other. This is like the trust fall of activities, right? If you fall backwards and they're not there to catch you, start in the practice room, start in the rehearsal, trusting each other that if something maybe goes a little bit awry, that you've already communicated, you've already established that trust and that equivalency of role. Anything else that you notice that's really good? Yeah. Say again? 2, yeah. Fairly quickly or did it take forever? Fairly quickly, yeah, great. What about before the tuning? A little bit of a warm-up, That's, it can feel kind of obnoxious to enter a room and then that's uninhabited, and then suddenly you like put sound in that room. I know as a singer, we kind of walk in and we're like, woo! Or something like that, and everybody's like, wow, that's incredibly obnoxious. It is incredibly obnoxious, but it's also it's to an end. We need to make sound. So don't apologize for putting sound in the room when you first get there. Great, was that 8? I wasn't keeping track, to be honest. Someone have another one? Yeah. They had their music, yep, scores are ready to go. Dr. Yates, did you have an extra?
Yeah, I had an extra copy in my
Ooh, sick. Extra copies, love that. Maybe have it quickly on a PDF form too, if you're a tablet person, just so you can airdrop that. We do a lot of airdropping in my studio. Hey, can I airdrop with you? There was one other one. Maybe a visual clue.
They established cues and actually
They marked it. I love that. Mark your score, mark your score, mark your score. You will not remember, I promise. You will not remember. There was one other. Yeah. One more time? Yeah, there was actually a really good physicality here. Dr. Yates was kind of at like a 45-degree angle so that he could have a lot of good periphery with Ms. Chung, and likewise, she had her head up, she was watching. Did either of them use phones? No. Did they go, hold on, let me check something, or something like that? No. Excellent. Really, really good. They got right to work. Hey, you got all of them. So, just for fun, for the sake of comparison, let's replay that scene. And Dr. Yates is going to make some, and Ms. Chung are going to make some really terrible choices. Let's just see how that will look. Could you not welcome Dr. Yates and Ms. Chung to the stage, please? Could you talk amongst yourselves?
Get off stage! Go home! Fake news.
Nailed it.
Hey, where's Miss Chung?
Hey, are you gonna be here or what?
She's drunk. Your breath stinks.
Yo.
Where have you been? Do you have the music for this?
What music? Oh.
I don't have an extra copy.
What are you playing?
This is the romance. I gave it to you like 2 days ago. Get him.
Are you
Are you gonna give me a tuning note? I need a B flat. Okay, close enough. Whatever. Okay. I'm starting at D. Are you starting at D?
whatever.
Okay.
Hello, Dr. Walton. Yeah. One second, okay? Yeah. Right. Okay.
Am I paying for this?
Okay.
That was it. Okay, we're starting at D. You're not with me. It's a quarter note before D. Okay. I feel like you're not playing the right notes. Okay, we'll just do it again. We'll figure out what's wrong.
You're so nice to applaud them for their acting. Very quickly, what were the bad ideas? Yeah.
Whenever Dr. Yates was like going to start to perform with her, he didn't really give her an initial cue.
No cue.
Know where to start.
Yeah.
He wasn't keeping his tempo.
Yeah, no, there was. Did this person know their score? No, not at all. What about the body language? I want to keep going on that. What about the body language for that? Where was the angle of his body? Yeah?
Away from it.
Yeah, literally not even, there was like the whole like, oh, okay, I went back in my head. It's not true. It's not true. It's not real. You can't see that way. Yeah, I saw a hand over here. Yeah. Yep. Forgot the music. Took time. It was awkward. It was slow. That took, by the way, almost 2.5 minutes longer than the first scene. How much did they get done in that?
A lot.
Oh, quite literally almost nothing. Almost nothing. There was another hand here. Yeah. Yeah. Pot calling the kettle, if you will. Yeah, and what were the, yes, I do actually believe that he used the word I statement. He used an I statement. We'll give him like half a check mark for that, but the I statement was, I think you're playing the wrong notes. That's not actually a real I statement. That does not take accountability, does not take responsibility, it's not kind, it's not creative, and it's not efficient. It doesn't check into the classes. Yeah.
The phone.
The phone. The phone. Raise your hand if you've checked your phone during rehearsal. I'll raise my hand. I am not a liar. I've done it. What else? Did anybody have a pencil? Did they use it? No. What about the quick warm-up and the tuning? Careless, right? Very careless. What about Miss Chung? Disinterested, late. Yeah. There was one other really lovely little bit at the beginning. Chewing gum. Ugh. Even if you need it, spit it out before you start. Everybody's going to need a little minty freshness once in a while. That's fine. Get rid of it before you start. Great, we're going to keep moving on. Ms. Strong, do you want to come discuss some of the other stuff here? We're just going to have them chime in. So we have our next bad idea. This is going to be more on the sort of nitty-gritties of when you're actually in the rehearsal, how do you get something done? And this can be difficult because sometimes there's a peer-to-peer relationship here, which can be a little bit tricky to navigate. Sometimes there's also a little bit of power differential. Maybe it's a grad student, maybe it's even a faculty member or a staff member working with you, and you really want to know, you really want some language to help figure out how you make this rehearsal effective. So do you want to start with going straight to this part?
So, we just ran through this piece. I gotta tell the piece. Well, let's pick D. It's forte. You need to play that. Come on. Okay? And the Recital, give other people a cue. So this is the way you can deliver your message, or you can do it another way to deliver the same message. Well, we just ran through. I think most of you did quite a good job. But would you think that the D section we can do a little bit louder? What do you think? Is it possible?
I think that's possible. I'm going to mark it into my music so I remember to do that.
Yeah. I think we need to have a bit more like body language if we need to do a down go together. Do you think it's a good way?
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think what I can do is I can show you a little bit more getting into E where I'm at, and then maybe that'll help show what we're going to do in E.
Okay, I think that's one. So same message, two different ways. So you need to see how to deliver your message effectively and purposefully, and you need to get a positive result out of it. It's not just make everyone frustrated or anxious. Okay?
Perfect. Notice that the first way was very binary, right, wrong, boring. Music is not made in that moment. Notice that the second way was very musical. She's using Italian terms. She's inviting, we had the collectivization of language here when we really talked about that. We, I, Dr. Yates also took accountability. Yeah, I can do that too. Let's meet on this higher plane of actual music making and not just talking about right and wrong. Next.
So, one thing that I try to be really careful about when I'm rehearsing with other people is not being passive about what I want. So there's a really big difference between kind of circling in on what you want somebody to do without saying it, and just telling them what you want, but telling them in a really polite way that isn't, accusatory, right? So one of the things that I work really hard at doing is instead of saying, hey, you messed up, or that was wrong, I know that was wrong. Sometimes we think that, right? But saying things like that is not going to help us create a collaboration that's actually interesting to listen to. So instead I might say things like, well, I'd really like to take another look at this transition into E because I'm not sure I'm really showing you what I want to do there. Or beyond that, as an instrumentalist, sometimes what I might do is actually say, hey, can I sing that for you? And just so that you can kind of hear what I'm going for, so that I can remove the technical issue of my instrument being difficult, right? And just show whoever I'm collaborating with what I might actually want to do. And sometimes that's useful in being direct. Here's what I want to do here, but not being, hey, you messed up, fix it, which gives me nothing.
If it's not together, it's not right. And it takes more than one person to be together, which means you have a role in that too. The last little bit of this is I see a lot, especially in early rehearsals, of avoidance where you know something's wrong, but you really don't know how to approach it. So you just kind of go, I guess that was fine. I mean, I could grab a coffee before my next class, right? Please don't avoid. I also like to use what I call proximity language. Hey, I think we, collectivizing, I think we're really close at measure 44. Can we try that again? Just do it again. Repetition, habit building, it might just be better without making a suggestion. Without making a suggestion, right? That myelin sheath wrapping around your synapses has to go 24 times before a habit is created. Maybe the first time that a fly flew across the page. You never know. Just try it again. If you're out of words, if you're nervous, use proximity language. Hey, that was really close. Let's do it again. That's good enough. That's a good enough place to start. Just to round this section out, we're also going to add a couple more notes about working in a large ensemble. We're going to have Dr. Yates talk a little bit about orchestra, wind ensemble, that kind of stuff. Or chamber. Go ahead.
Cool. So I think one thing to think about is intonation, and Dr. Bixby was just kind of putting in on this. If something's out of tune, who's right? No one. And if something's out of tune, who's wrong? Everyone, right? So when we're in an ensemble, when the trombone section's playing in the wind ensemble, or when the brass quintet's working on something and we're out of tune, it's not that one person is out of tune and they're wrong and everybody else is right. It's that we're all not listening to each other and making sure that we're all in tune, right? And so typically in my world, we listen down for intonation, so we're listening to the tubas, we're listening to the bass trombone for intonation. However, that also means that the tubas and bass trombone need to be, working on being in tune with the ensemble as well, right? So they can't just go off on their own land and we have to follow them to the death, sort of thing. So it's a group project, and if it's wrong, we're all wrong. So we can never say, oh, that was really bad, and it was that person's fault. Nope, false. That's not the way art works. So there's that to point out. I think something else to point out in an ensemble is that we really are looking for directions from the top down. So the section leader should be making decisions about articulations, about phrasing, about breath marks, things like that. And then beyond that, that all gets passed down the section. So in the section, you do what the section leader says. And if they're really wrong, or you think it's what they're asking is maybe not what the conductor's asking, then that's your opportunity to maybe ask some questions. But it's not really your opportunity to say, no, I'm not doing it that way, right? That would not be the appropriate section conduct. When you're in an ensemble, when the conductor stops and starts talking, stop. Don't keep playing. You got to pay attention enough so that you can stop right away and listen. Sometimes what happens in ensembles is the conductor stops and we're like, sweet, that was cool. We start talking with the person next to us. Man, I really messed that run up, but I'm glad nobody noticed, right? But we don't want to talk when we're getting ready to receive instruction from the conductor, even if it's not directed towards us, right? So even if you didn't mess anything up and the conductor's not talking to you, you still need to pay attention to what they're saying, because what they're saying may actually apply to what you're doing. They may be talking about a phrase or a run that you play later in the music, and if they tell it to the flutes, and then 15 bars later you play it, you should do exactly what the conductor asked the flutes to do as well. So thinking about ensemble rehearsals in that way can really smooth them out and make them go much faster. I think that's the difference to me between a student group and a professional group. Is a professional group moves really fast because they're kind of thinking ahead like that and they're able to make those changes before they're asked for. In rehearsal, don't eat in rehearsal, okay? Even if you haven't had lunch yet, sorry, figure out a way to have lunch, don't eat in rehearsal. Probably no coffee in rehearsal, no soft drinks. My trombone friends, please stop drinking pop and playing the trombone. It's bad for the instrument, it's bad for you. Tapping of the feet drives me nuts. That's not how we keep time, right? So we're all taught to keep time down here, but that's not really how we keep time, okay? We keep time internally, right here. We keep time right here, okay? If we're tapping our foot for time, there's three things that can happen. Thing number one is you're wrong, and you're going with yourself and you're wrong, okay? Thing number two is your foot gets tired, your muscles get tired because they're lifting your foot, your shoe, and it's heavy and all that stuff, and you get slower and slower, and then you drag the whole ensemble down, okay? The third thing that happens with your foot tapping is sometimes you're just a little off from everybody else around you, and it's really, really obvious, especially when your feet are all right here, and I'm sitting right there. I'm just looking at your feet being wrong, right? You don't want that. So, that's the tapping of the feet. Oh, this is a good one. I like this one. No stand sharing. You should have your own music stand. And if there's not enough music stands, ask the band staff or the orchestra staff for more music stands. Okay, you should be able to read off your own stand. You should be able to put it where you need to put it. You should be able to put your chair where you need it to be your best player in the ensemble. Cool. No sharing. Always have a pencil or two.
That all applies in its own unique way, slightly different way for singing ensembles as well. Sit up, use your instrument, do not eat, do not use your phone, all that kind of stuff. We're going to keep going because we are short on time, so we're going to keep busting forward. Next setting, that was rehearsal. Done. Congrats, you made it. Performance day. What do you do performance day? If you're able to make an individual choice about that, what do you do? Anybody? Do you have a routine?
Perform.
Yeah. You psych yourself up? Yeah? You don't psych yourself up. Yeah. Yeah. For some, it's like, today's a normal day. I'm going to go do my normal thing, and my normal thing is badass. Right? That's a perfectly valid approach to a performance day. What else? What else is your routine? Yeah, you kind of get back to basics. Just like, let me just reset. All the way back here. Yeah.
As I'm performing, I just think that I'm practicing. Did you practice like this before?
Yeah, kind of that like dissociation sort of thing. Like, none of you are here. Ha ha. Got it. Yeah.
Day of and day before, make sure you're only putting good things in your body.
Yeah, treat your body right. I love that. Sleep, eat good food, don't be crazy, don't make silly choices socially. Many of you, I won't say you all, but many of you probably reap the benefits on the negative side of that once in a while. You know how to do better. I know you do. I like to shop on a performance day. I like to go to a store and not talk to anybody for a while and just kind of leaf through clothes. Sometimes I'll spend money. Sorry, husband. Sometimes I don't. But that's sort of my low impact calisthenics where I can just kind of wander around, get my head right. Again, kind of not thinking about it, just help me get distracted. And then sometimes I show up with something new. That's kind of funny. Just treat myself. Good. We're actually going to move on. So get a routine. Get a routine and stick to it. The second thing is knowing how to track your stamina in terms of your chops or in terms of your voice or in terms of your muscles. Do you think you should play through your entire performance the day of your big performance? No, not a good idea. Should you play through the whole thing the day before?
Yes.
Maybe. I think it's a maybe. This is why it says track your stamina. Only you know how to track that. I would recommend, I usually schedule my dress rehearsals a couple days in advance. A couple days, 3 or 4 days prior. That gives me some time to go, oh wow, I really don't know this as well as I thought. But thankfully I have 3 days to fix it. Or, okay, that was awesome. I'm going to take an entire day and just rest. For us singers, it's just kind of resting our voices, not talking a lot, not singing a lot, giving those muscles a time to recover. Know your stamina, track your stamina. Build up and don't try to overload the day before or the day of. The last thing of being in performance is getting on and off stage, and while you're on stage, in a really lovely and welcoming manner. To do that, I actually have Mr. Brandon Motes, who is adjunct professor in voice. He's going to come on up. Are you staying down here? He's coming up. He's coming up to kind of give us a little bit of pointers on the big scary bow and how to actually hold your body a little bit, because some of that can be brand new, and I'm not sure anyone ever teaches it. So let's have Mr. Brandon. Will you welcome him to the stage, please?
All right, so here we are. We've been in the rehearsal room, we've practiced, and now it's time for the performance. And a lot of those parts are super clear. We know that we're going to perform the piece, we know the piece, and that's it. But the performance really starts from the moment you walk on stage, right? That's creating the energy, establishing the trust with the audience. And in classical music, we have some of these choreographic elements and rituals, the bow, the acknowledgement of collaborators, any of those things. And I think the most important place to start with that is to realize that it's not just stuffy tradition, but what does the bow mean when you come out on stage before you begin? Right? It's part of this social contract between you and the audience. For the audience, it lets them know they're in good hands. If you come out confidently and warmly, the audience is primed to enjoy the performance. If you come out awkwardly, shuffling your feet, looking really nervous, the audience is gonna be nervous for you, and they're gonna feel really awkward watching that. We've all watched a really bad performance before as an audience member. So we want to be primed for that. As a performer, that bow can also be a moment for you to center, for you to establish your space, to establish your authority on the stage. Make sense? So we've practiced our songs, we've practiced our pieces. We've practiced our pieces. How many of you ever practiced walking on stage? A few? It doesn't usually happen. Usually we're standing in the wings, it's time to start, and it's like, all right, here I go. But if we practice that bow at the beginning, then that's part of our routine. Then that goes into tuning, that goes into starting the piece. So then my next question here is, what makes a good welcoming bow? No slouching, right? Posture. Great. So I like to break it down pretty simply. You have the walk on, which should be at a pretty good tempo. We don't want to watch someone stroll slowly onto the stage. So come on with authority. Make eye contact, not individually, but welcoming into the room when you walk out. You're here. Establish your space, and then all it takes is really a specific, right, feet slightly apart, and just a gentle bend from the waist. Well, really from the hips, right? We can find our waist, which looks like this, and is weird. We go from the hips, where that joint actually is. It looks a lot cleaner. It looks like the body is meant to bend. It doesn't have to be long, especially the initial one, right? It's just about a down, up. It's about that acknowledgement. It says, thank you for being here, I'm here too. And then the third part of that is hands. Sometimes we see this, which is also a strange vestige of like social dance that we don't wear, it's kind of weird and awkward looking. They just hang gently down by your side or clasped in the front. If you have, there's also this option if you're wearing a dress, and it's more of a curtsy there. So with that, now it's masterclass time. I need 3 volunteers to come up on stage right now. And if I don't, then I'm just going to point randomly. So come on up. 1, 2, 3. All right. 3, welcome. All right, this is simple. This is just masterclass time. They're going to, one at a time, they're going to start over here. They're going to find their space. They're going to bow. We're going to be polite audience members and welcome them to the stage as well. And we're going to watch and we're going to practice. So come on out. Great. What's your name? Thank you. All right. So what we saw with that, I know you're first, so we're going to masterclass this. Can you come out a little bit quicker? Can you make eye contact? You kind of walked out to your space this way, not looking. Can you have that nice smile come out? And once you get to your spot, plant first, establish your spot, then breathe. That way, the breath is important, so you can get there first, establish, and then go. Try it one more time. And applause. Excellent. There we go. So that pause makes a big difference. That pause there makes a big difference in I'm here and I know what I'm doing. Next. Go for it. Excellent. Excellent. Smile coming out. It was warm. It was generous. It had a nice gait in the step. Very nice. Thank you. And next. Woo. Great. So yeah, hands behind your back. That can work as well there. A nice piece there. Let your head go down just a little bit more. It kind of stayed like this, which is more like an ostrich eating or something, right? So if you let it go down just a little bit, it just again finds that spine stays a little bit more even keel. Try one more time. And here we go. There we go. See, that was better. Thank you. Right, little things, right? Practicing something as inconsequential as that actually sets your performance up for success. You know how far you're going to walk. You know where your spot is. Now, a couple other just little things with that. That was a soloist bow, right, coming out by yourself. We aren't always coming out as soloists in this moment. A lot of times we'll have our collaborator come out with us, or our full string quartet come out with us. It's important beforehand to establish your leader, who's going to lead that group bow together. Usually it's someone in the middle that everyone can kind of see. This is where that pause takes importance. That breath, you're essentially giving a prep breath to the group bow. So then you all are able to go down together and back up. It's clean, it's efficient, and again, establishes the group together. Now we get to the end of the performance. Quick things at the end of the performance, it's just in reverse. Same thing, now the bow means thank you for listening. The audience is saying thank you for performing for us. That was wonderful. There's this mutual energy and respect. And again, the bow is quick, efficient, together, acknowledging your accompanist. If you're a solo singer or performer, acknowledge, bow together. And most importantly, when you're taking that bow and you get the applause from the audience, acknowledge that before you do anything else. That is your way of thanking the audience. After you play that last note, you have that moment. Then you can shuffle your music or get your drink of water or wipe sweat off of your forehead. But make sure you make that connection first, rather than shutting the audience out, shuffling around. Oh yeah, I guess I'll bow now. Make sense? Just some little things there to help improve that full concept of the performance. And just like the first step on stage is part of your performance, how you leave stage is also part of that performance. The last thing you do, they do remember. The bow and leaving stage is like the after-dinner mint of the restaurant. It's not going to make or break the meal, but it sure is nice when it's when you have one at the end. So, thank you. Have fun. Practice your bows.
With one more lovely performance by Dr. Yates and Ms. Chung. And to do that, we are going to make sure that we are in our prime audience seat. I've been observing, and actually we've also had a grad student observing you for the entirety. Due to time, we're not going to call you out, but we were going to call you out for those of you who are on your phones or doing work or things like that. So what we're going to do now is have them perform. Please reset yourself as an audience member, if you would. A little bit further up in your chair. If you're holding a phone, I forgive you, put it away. If you're doing homework, I forgive you, put it away. If you were eating, actually I didn't really see very much eating. So if you were eating, congratulations, I didn't know this. So we're going to welcome them on stage and enjoy this lovely performance. Again, you are a warm audience. Do not move off your seat. That's another way of saying I'm more important than you are on stage. Don't use your phone. That's just another way of saying I'm not listening. Please welcome to the stage to finish up Dr. Yates and Ms. Chung.
Thanks, everyone. Sorry we ran over a little bit. If you have questions.